dark fantasy artist and book illustrator, and today I'll give you a tour of the oldest sketchbook I own. You probably don't know, but I was the biggest Redwall fan growing up. I wanted to be a squirrel, just jumping from tree to tree with my bow and arrow so badly. When people asked me whether I believed in God, I told them I prayed to Martin the warrior. Feldo the squirrel was the love of my life and my first heartbreak. Nobody will ever compare. Okay, so actually the major reason why I love the character Kaladin from Brendan Sanderson's Stormlight Archives is because he's essentially Feldo and Martin in a human trench coat. Feldo is the slavery and unhealthy revenge arc, and Martin, I mean, he literally gets hung out in the storm to die and gets saved by a mysterious voice. And the whole honor thing, right? And essentially becoming a religious figure. I mean, I see what you did there, Brendan, and I approve. I had it bad, okay? This oddly still fits really well. It's like my face hasn't changed since I was 10. Yeah. Anyhow, I filled multiple sketchbooks like this with armies of my Redwall OCs, and today we're going to have a look at the very first of them. Before we dive in though, I want to mention that I will talk a little bit about what's been going on lately and what I want to do with this channel at the end of the video. So if you're interested in that, stay till the end. If not, feel free to enjoy your life doing anything else. Let's start with this beautiful cover. This notebook I got gifted by my grandma, because I was a child who was always drawing, so people gifted me notebooks and sketchbooks, so that was very nice back then. And because there weren't enough pages in this, clearly I started drawing on the cover, on the plastic cover, which, well, let's say this has held up surprisingly well for that, and you can already tell I loved squirrels. I loved squirrels, not so much anatomy, but I mean, I was like 10, so that's okay. And can also tell that this doesn't work as smoothly anymore as it once did. This is a handsome squirrel, which is not based on Feldo at all, and I called him Red because I was a very creative child. Also, you have to see this little necklace. It's only there because this is a later edition, right? First, the drawing didn't have the felt tip pen and it didn't have the necklace and also these little golden details. I got gifted a bunch of gel pens and I went through my sketchbooks and I just added little gel pen details wherever I thought they fit in. And the felt tip pen, well, I also just added that to everything else. So this is not the original sketch, this is already a new vision by the artist. Well, we continue with the lovely mouse called Daisy. Again, you can see here the gel pen additions. She's a very cute, happy little mouse. This drawing is a collaboration with my dad, so he actually did quite a lovely, quite realistic drawing, colored pencil drawing of a squirrel, and I added my own vision to it with, you know, the black felt tip pen and yeah, the golden gel pen. I loved my golden gel pen. So yes, and I cut off a part to make him fit into the sketchbook. As you can tell, I transferred a lot of these from another sketchbook into this one, or just from loose paper into this one. Now, oh, I see. So his name is Arrow, by the way, I think. But I also noted down what their weapons are, and these are this is a bow. She has a bow which you can't see, and she also has a bow which you can see. There I got metallic felt tip pens and I added those to everything. It was called Grumbly And I also wrote it down 3 times, and 1 time, well, clearly it wasn't good enough. I was already, back then, I was very self-critical. I'm pretty sure that one, no, that one wasn't misspelled. It was a different name. So he was first called Grumble, and then I called him Grumbly. Good. And I think his name is Spear, and he has a weapon which is a spear, but he also has a dagger, and I am so confused. Also, the gel pens. I feel like a lot of these drawings were a lot better before I went in there with the gel pens. But yeah, well, in German we have a word which is called verschlimmbessern, which is when you're trying to make something better and you're just making it worse and worse. And I feel like that's kind of what was going on, but also not, because I was more like decorating them and making it worse. Yeah, so here I was already, so some of them had weapons, and for some of them I was clearly drawing in provisions so they would be ready for the next siege. This is Fennel, by the way. She was another brave squirrel archer. I loved squirrel archers. I love them so much. This is Green. He's wearing, well, he's wearing the right tunic for that. This is Sunshine. She was more like a casual warrior, I guess. And Flower, a little badger. This was not drawn by me. This was drawn by a friend of mine. As you can tell, this is a completely different style, okay? The gel pens, I can't with the gel pens. Anyhow, this was originally drawn by a friend of mine because I forced a lot of my friends to also get really invested in anthropomorphic animals, though I don't think any of them actually read or watched Redwall. A lot of them had to draw as well, and then we exchanged drawings. I know you get your food soon, babe. Yeah, and as you can tell, I also added my gel pen and the felt tip pen parts. This is Red Clover, and this is another portrait of Red, who is absolutely not Felder. This is Chestnut. This was supposed to be Celandine. Yeah, and that was Treefall. So yeah, a lot of this was actually just fan art. Quite frankly, I'm not sure if I drew this. I think this was another friend, but I don't know. Do you guys think I would have drawn a better elbow at this time? Like, can you tell from these drawings? No, I would not have drawn a better elbow. No, this, I don't know if this was me. It would have been very strange. Yeah, Shushu, what do you think? I don't think I would have used the grey outline. Would I have used the grey outline? And the neon, I feel like the neon is very... Well, it's Grumbly again. And this is Bellflower. No, I changed her name. She used to be Bellflower and now she's Starflower. Just as I also gave her dress this very funky pattern. Oh my goodness, no. This was me trying to copy my dad's somewhat realistic squirrel drawing, which you can tell by these stripes I added in there. The nose, that's no squirrels. She's called Brown Nut. Okay. Yes. And this is Star. She's a hare. He is called Sword Swinger, and he has neon, but the neon is gel pen. Gel pen was all me. Gel pen was all me. I was the gel pen person. This is Flash. He's called Akon. He looks fun and funky. He's, well, secret, I guess. He was a fox, which is strange because foxes were evil. Which, quite frankly, Brian, why were the foxes evil? Foxes are cute. Also, were the foxes a lot larger than the squirrels, or were they, you know, the mice, were they all actually the same size? Nobody knows. This one I copied from somebody else who actually could draw better than me when I was 10, which is why this one looks so much better, or at least very different. It's a blue tit. It's a blue tit, and it's a hedgehog. I started to vary my animals a little bit more. Okay, I think it's gooseberry. And in German it works because it's spikeberry and she has spikes, so. Oh my goodness. Yes, I also had insect OCs, I guess. Not enough segments in there. I'm gonna stop criticizing child me. You did well, you did well. It's a cute bumblebee. It's very cute. Anyhow. Oh my god. No! Did I draw that? I don't think I drew that. I think this was another of my friends. No, it was a... No. This was water lily. Very pretty. Oh, and pancake. Oh, I think this is actually as closest to an actual OC with like a backstory and stuff that I got to with these, because most of them are just repeating myself and I'm not really adding anything in. But yeah, pancake was like a mad wizard type hair, and he had a frying pan as a weapon, and yeah, he was fun, and his tail was growing out of his hip. Why not? She was a rabbit, Clover, and I knew, by the way, back then, I knew the difference between a rabbit and a hare, and I was always a bit confused that Redwall was featuring mostly hares and not rabbits. I think there's one book that has a family of rabbits in it, and it's not very, they're not very heroic now, are they? Oh, she's the funny one. She is a mole, which quite frankly I haven't drawn enough moles. I feel like they're underrepresented in my sketchbook. Oh, she had a gothic eyeliner. She had a slightly gothic eyeliner and a stylish collar, so I was varying the clothing a little bit. She was Cloud, and she was not evil. Look at her. She's a fox, but she is not evil. There's no way I thought she was an evil character. See, back then I already knew foxes were actually nice. Unless you're a mouse, I guess, then they will eat you. Redwall foxes never ate anybody. I mean, that would have made things interesting. Yeah, Nightshade. She was, I mean, look at her. She's sassy. I feel like they're starting to have a little bit more character and personality now. Not him though, not him. He does though. He's called Soil. He's a mole and he's called Soil. Or he's called Earth, like the planet. I don't know. Yeah. No. She was an old lady mouse. I think with this one I'm trying to repeat this one. I think I was copying that. Was I? What do you think? I don't think so. Oh, actually, I think the person I copied this from was probably an artist called Ainsley Seago. I don't know. I'm remembering this name. I don't even remember how it would have been spelled, but she was a Redwall fan artist. Did some very awesome stuff. I was a huge fan when I was tiny. Well, she was a white mouse with blue eyes, and she has a real name. And I'm starting to get really bright. I got felt tip pens. Those were the felt tip pens. I was using when I was at my great grandma's. And I would get great questions like, is this a wolf? And I would be like, no, it's a mouse. Can't you see? Isn't that obvious? Well, she's stylish. These were copied from a children's book I was reading, and I always thought she had the best outfit, and now that I'm seeing it, it's true, she has the best outfit. I tried something. She kind of... Okay, so she's called Rosie, so maybe I'm biased, but doesn't she kind of look like... Oh, that actress, what was her name? The one that plays Ygritte in the Game of Thrones show. Maybe... But I always thought she was so pretty. And she's dressed very romantically, very stylishly, while also being a fierce archer. So good for her. I'm not a... No. He looks like... No. You want to punch him. Don't you want to punch him? I mean, if you look at the fox, right? The fox, the previous fox, where you're like, no, that fox is not evil. No, can't find her, but... She clearly not an evil fox. Clearly an evil mouse. Like, he's an evil mouse. Like, no. No. Ugh. Okay, her... I think I copied the style with the ears somewhere. I always thought she looked so pretty. Yeah. Well. Yes, Squirrel's Wood was my own attempt at world building back then, because I was going to write a very original fiction about a world in which we have Squirrel's Wood and Foxland, two countries where, who would have thought, foxes and squirrels were living. And it was, yes, I did not get very far. I think I wrote like 1 page and then I gave up, which, I mean, I did have more sketchbooks to fill. I had at least 3 of these, so yeah. Good days back then. Ah, yes. I hope you enjoyed this. My heart. This was such a huge part of my life. After that came the horses. The horses. Anyhow, I wanted to tell you all why it's been so quiet here. Well, I ended up with 2 huge projects scheduled for the first half of this year, with more than 30 illustrations needing to be completed until June. And because sometimes I take my own advice, I ignored everything else on my to-do list until I had a good chunk of it done. That's 13 full-page illustrations and a handful of spots finished this January, folks. So all of these. I'm right now waiting on feedback for the other big project and started working on a cover in between, but I feel much better already and everything just seems more manageable now. I won't be able to put a ton of time into my social media or my YouTube channel for a while though. I'm not much into the hustle and grind anymore and find doing less but doing it well much more rewarding. Plus, I need to cuddle with my cat and read all of Robin Hobb's bibliography. I can't spend hours on editing videos. I have a few scripts that are somewhere on the way to finished, so I might complete those this year, but mostly I want to focus on sketchbook tours for now. They take less work to prepare and edit, and let me tell you, I have a lot of sketchbooks. So many, in fact, that I want to say goodbye to most of them. Not this one though. This has sentimental value to me. This is my precious. I've been struggling with the idea of just dumping them into recycling, and I feel like giving them all a little farewell tour I can share with you might be nice. Also, I've attempted several times to catalog my favorite ideas and sketches digitally, but it never really worked for me, so I think it might be nice to put together a little scrapbook with all my favorite excerpts instead. Like 10 sketchbooks squeezed into one, so to speak. That's the plan anyway. I can't promise these videos with any regularity because if my schedule's full, it's full, and both my client work and my mental health take priority. But I'm quite excited about diving into this, so we'll see. Thank you all so much for watching. Next, we'll probably have a look at some of my sketchbooks from art school. Until then, I already have some sketchbooks online, you can check them out. If you want to sign up to my newsletter, you can get a download of my tiny sketchbook as well, like this tiny daily fantasy sketchbook. Don't worry, I don't spam. I never get around to writing at all, actually, so there's that. Oh yeah, and before I forget, for those of you who are interested in freelance illustration stuff, while we won't bring back my beginner workshop this year because I'm busy, there's a waiting list you can sign up for if you want to be notified should I do another online workshop with Drink and Draw Berlin. Sign up to that one if you want to learn about freelance illustration stuff. Okay, is there anything else? Actually, buy my book maybe if you like mermaids. Okay, that's it. All links are in the description if I don't forget to put them there. Okay, you're a truly dedicated mouse warrior if you've made it this far. Thank you so much for your support, and bye, I guess. Goodbye.